All right, so in this video, we're going to talk about delivery. Now, delivery is a very interesting topic when it comes to Turo, and I have exercised every delivery setting and variation of it over my almost 6 years of being on Turo. So let me kind of share with you guys a little bit of my experience, what some of my recommendations are, and a hot top secret tip on how delivery settings could help your ranking, which I've never shared publicly on YouTube. Okay, so in my time of doing Turo, when I first started, right, I'm here in Orange County and I'm right next door to LA County, which is a ginormous market for Turo. Back when I started, Orange County wasn't very popular. There wasn't very many people who knew about Turo that lived in Orange County, so a lot of my utilization came from LA County. Because it was in LA County, I had to really set myself up for delivery because, I just didn't have that many people willing to drive down to Orange County to get cars, and the distance was too far. So I had myself set up for delivery. So I've done it all. I have delivered to LAX, I've delivered to Long Beach Airport, John Wayne Airport, Ontario Airport, you name it, I've done it. I've delivered to all parts of LA, Beverly Hills, Hollywood, it's just, I've done it all. I've been everywhere, which was great because I got to learn a lot about Southern California by doing delivery, right? Delivery is a beautiful thing because it is a fantastic way to add value. People truly love the idea of the car that they are renting brought to their doorsteps, especially this day and age with everything going on with the pandemic. The idea of a car being delivered to them, just like how Uber Eats and Postmates and Grubhub and DoorDash is exploding with business right now, is the same thing. People want that delivered to their door. They want that contactless experience, hassle-free. They're really looking for that. If you can offer delivery and you can offer it in a pretty decent radius around your location, it is going to really, really help in the ranking of your listing. And not only that, you can charge a delivery fee, which most hosts do, and it's a way for you to make more money as well, right? But the tricky part about delivery is really being able to handle it logistically and time-wise, right? You have to have the ability to go deliver that car. You either have to have transportation set up, so whether you have a spouse or a sibling or a friend who can accommodate you and go with you, that way they can bring you back. That's one way of doing it. Or of course, you can utilize rideshare like Uber and Lyft. But when you're doing that, you have to make sure that the cost makes sense. So you want to think about things like the gas that it takes to go there, the time that it takes to go there, you're having to take rideshare back, how much that's going to cost. And based on that, then you want to calculate what you would have to charge for delivery in order for it to make sense. I think delivery is always a great thing to add onto your listing, especially when you're first starting out, because it's going to give you a lot of exposure. That's a feature that I believe Turo likes a lot. So when they see people offering delivery, they tend to rank you higher, at least from what I've observed. So what I do is I think that it's always a great idea to service an airport that's close to you. So luckily for me, I live next to a small airport, which is about 10 minutes away. It's John Wayne Airport. And when I see that my listings need a little bit of help, I will usually flip that delivery on and I'll service that airport because close by, it's easy, it's not that time consuming. Now, things to keep in mind when you do delivery is you want to make sure that the experience is flawless, right? So if you are going to do it, and I'll share with you how I do it. For example, let's say you're doing airport delivery, right? You want to make sure you can kind of scope out the scene and figure out where you can do a proper handoff, whether that's at the actual airport, across the street from the airport, or there's a lot that you can use. So for John Wayne, there's a very convenient lot nearby, and I use that lot, a lot that people can walk to very easily. Then when people book with me, I give them very clear and concise directions, right? So my messaging kind of goes like this, like, thank you so much for booking with me. I see that you're flying into John Wayne Airport. airport, when you get a moment, could you please send me your airline name and your flight number so that I can keep an eye on your flight on the day of your arrival and arrive accordingly. So then they'll go ahead and they'll send me that information. Then I'll respond with, okay, excellent. Thank you so much for providing me that information. Here's where we're going to meet. And I give them very clear directions like exit through departures, take this crosswalk, you're gonna meet me in lot, Z1, and that's where I'll be waiting for you right next to the elevator. So you wanna have such a high level of clarity where it doesn't leave any room for questions or error and people getting lost. Now, the important thing being, if you're servicing an airport, for example, it could take some time, right? Because flights are always either early or they're late. People have bags, so it can take a minute to really process that. But what I can tell you is that over time, it gets really easy and you can really streamline it. For example, if somebody's flying into John Wayne, 98% of the time, I know that I've been able to calculate that from the time that they land to the time that they get out, it's usually 25 minutes. So I take, their airline information, I look at what time they're landing, and then I wait for 25 minutes after that, and that's usually the time that they get out. That way you're not just sort of wasting your time and waiting around. You can arrive accordingly, and you can almost arrive within a 5 to 10 minute margin, and it really saves you time. And the guests are happy because they walk out and it's like this VIP service, the car is there. It's just such a cool experience. I've done it myself. I think I flew into Oakland Airport and I've flown into Denver where I've done that airport delivery, and it was awesome because you get off of a flight and there's this car waiting for you, a host is greeting you, and it's amazing, right? So those are kind of the things that you want to keep in mind when you're thinking about having that delivery option. So the hack that I will share with you is this. When I do offer airport delivery, for example, I do things like I'll put a 2-day minimum because sometimes I'm trying to boost my listing, but I'm not necessarily trying to get an abundance of airport deliveries. So when I put that 2-day minimum, it helps boost my listing, but I'm not getting that many bookings from John Wayne Airport. Another hack that I found is if I put free delivery within a 1-mile radius, which is very easy to service, that will also help boost my listing without really having sort of that delivery factor to it, if you know what I mean, right? So these are little hacks, but also that does come over time as you build your listings, as you build reviews under your belt. When you do little things like that, it helps you get a boost. Initially, though, I do think that you should really try and provide that delivery. I would say a fair radius is 15 miles, but the bigger you go, the more exposure you get to your listings. All right, guys, I hope you found that helpful, and I will move on to the next topic, and we'll talk soon.